You do not need money to start a business that makes $10,000 a month.
One, I would say these days you do not have to have money to make money, which is incredibly powerful.
The biggest lie the system feeds you is that wealth requires capital. But today, your time and hustle are the only currency that actually matters.
For those who are older, who have no more passion, they're burnt out, they're exhausted, it is the highest form of currency.
Because it's not about what you know. You don't need to know the secret formulas. You don't need to have secret connections. If you just get your behavior right and your thinking right, you can do well.
And if you keep waiting for a perfect moment or some rich investor to save you, you will stay trapped in the exact same financial struggle for the rest of your life. Let's look at John Paul DeJoria. He was completely broke and living in his car. He only had $700 to his name. He didn't let his empty bank account stop him from building his business.
So my car was my home where I'm going to live. Got a blanket, a pillow in there. And then to eat, I figured out a way to eat off $2.50 a day.
Paul Mitchell was $700. My partner threw in $350. My mom put in some money, not even knowing that's what she was doing. I put a little bit.
He partnered with a friend and they started selling hair care products door to door. They knocked on doors every single day because they had no money for marketing.
I filled my car full of our products and drove right up Ventura Boulevard in Studio City. It was full of salons. And knocked, like encyclopedias, okay, door to door to door, selling my product, right? I had challenges. One, no distributor, no advertising money. So I went out and it took me a week to get 12 salons to buy my product.
And today, John Paul Mitchell Systems makes over $1 billion a year. He proved that you only need hustle to get out of poverty. Now, you're probably thinking that door-to-door sales is dead and you don't have a physical product to sell anyway. Don't let that be your excuse. Today, the internet is your neighborhood and your digital skills are your products. You have access to billions of people right here on your phone for free. So here are 10 specific businesses you can launch today with $0 to start making real money. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Number 1, AI operations consultant. Small business owners are terrified of falling behind, but they have absolutely zero time to learn how artificial intelligence actually works. They see the news, but they do not know where to start. And this is where you step in. You can become an AI consultant using just your computer and free tools. Recent data shows that 64% of businesses expect AI to increase their productivity. You do not need a computer science degree to do this. You can use free platforms to write their marketing emails or automate their customer service replies. You test a few prompts, you track the hours it saves them, and you optimize their daily workflow. When you take the stress off an entrepreneur's shoulder and give them their time back using AI, you are providing massive value. So reach out to 10 local business owners today. Tell them you will automate their inbox for free to prove your worth. When you show them how much time you save them, they will happily pay you for a monthly retainer. Number 2, custom AI assistant builder. Every company wants their own version of ChatGPT trained on their specific data, but they have no idea how to build it. You can build custom AI assistants for businesses without writing a single line of code. Harvard Business Review explains that anyone can now build custom AI models using simple text instructions. You simply take a company's training manuals, upload them into a custom GPT builder, and give them a chatbot that can instantly answer any employee question. Don't let the lack of cash be an excuse. You can use your time to learn this free skill and then charge businesses thousands of dollars to implement it. It is a skill, and you can get better at any skill if you put in the reps. Go to 5 local plumbing or HVAC companies. Ask them what their most common customer question is. Build a free chatbot that answers that exact question and send it to them. Number 3, high-ticket remote sales. If you want to make $10,000 a month quickly, you need to sell expensive things. You do not need to invent the expensive thing. You just need to sell it for someone else. High-ticket remote sales means that you take phone calls, Zoom calls for experts who are selling $5,000 plus coaching programs or software. Entrepreneur Magazine notes that remote sales requires zero upfront cost and offers massive earning potential. You don't need to build a website or run ads. The business owner already does the marketing. They just need someone to close the deal. So you get on the phone or Zoom call, you ask the prospects about their problems, and you offer the solution. You get paid a 10% commission on everything that you sell. If you close one $5,000 deal a day, you make $500 a day. You have to Endure the learning curve. You'll be terrible at your first 10 sales calls. Expect to suck at the beginning, but your 11th call might completely change your financial reality. Number 4, short form video strategist. Every business knows they need to be on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and Instagram Reels. The problem is that most business owners are stiff, boring, and have no idea how to hook a viewer. You can become a short-form video strategist. HubSpot data shows that short-form video can have a high return on investment. You do not just edit the videos, you tell the business owner exactly what to say. You write the hooks, you can use free AI tools to add captions and fast cuts. I hated my first 350 videos. I could not watch them back because I was so embarrassed, but I kept putting in the reps. You can use your phone to film a local real estate agent and give 3 tips for buying a house. Edit it for free. When that video gets them a new client, they will hire you to do it every single week. Number 5, email list monetization. Most creators and businesses have a list of past customers sitting completely ignored in an email database. That is pure cash waiting to be collected. You can offer to manage and monetize their email list. Campaign Monitor reports that email marketing produces an average return of $36 for every $1 spent. So you go to a business and you say you will write 1 weekly email to their list for free. You tell them you only get paid a percentage of the new sales that come directly from your emails. This becomes a no-brainer for the business owner because there's zero risk for them. You use AI to help you write engaging stories and practical offers, and it costs you $0 to start. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just check the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. Number 6, B2B lead generation. Business to business companies survive on leads. If an agency sells a $10,000 service, they desperately need to talk to qualified buyers. You can build a business simply by finding those buyers and setting up the meetings. G2 reports that lead generation is the top priority for marketers, but over 60% struggle to find high quality leads. You do not need to be an expert in their industry. You just need to be relentless on LinkedIn and email. You find the target audience, you send a highly personalized message, and you book the meeting on the agency's calendar. You charge a flat fee for every qualified meeting that shows up. Your purpose comes from your pain. If you know what it feels like to be broke, use that pain to motivate your hustle. Reach out to 50 marketing agencies today and offer to book their next 3 meetings for free. Number 7, no-code automation architect. Businesses lose thousands of hours every year doing boring, repetitive tasks. They copy data from emails into spreadsheets and then from spreadsheets into billing software. You can eliminate this manual work by becoming a no-code automation architect. Zapier highlights that no-code tools allow anyone to build complex software integrations without knowing how to program. You connect their different apps so they talk to each other automatically. You are giving people their time back. Wealthy people will gladly pay you to get their time back. And you can learn these platforms for free on YouTube. The best teachers in the world are on YouTube right now. So look at a local accounting firm, see what manual data entry they do, build an automation that does it instantly, and show them how it works. Number 8, YouTube click-through rate specialist. If a YouTube video has a bad title and a boring thumbnail, nobody will click on it. It does not matter how good the video is. Creators are desperate for higher click-through rates. You can build a highly profitable business by designing thumbnails and writing titles. YouTube officially states that 90% of the best performing videos have custom thumbnails. You can use free software to design the graphics. You study the psychology of what makes people click. You find a YouTuber with 50,000 plus subscribers who gets terrible views. You redesign their last 3 thumbnails for free and send them over. When their views double, they will hire you to do every video going forward. So stop worrying about looking successful and start doing the unglamorous work that actually pays. And bonus tip for anybody who's really trying to take YouTube split testing seriously, I built a software. It's called Brandlytics.ai. We'll link it up in the description below. That's a tool the big YouTubers are using to be able to identify the videos that are underperforming and run the split test to improve their performance. Number 9, paid community manager. The biggest trend online right now is private paid communities. Creators are launching groups where members pay $99 a month to learn, but these creators do not have the time to actually run the community. Influencer Marketing Hub reports that the creator economy is now worth over $100 billion, driven heavily by direct community monetization. So you can step in as a community manager. You welcome new members, you host weekly video calls, you organize the content. You are the glue that holds the group together. Find a creator that you already follow and love. Message them and offer to moderate their communities for free for 2 weeks. When you increase their member retention, they will happily pay you a percentage of the monthly recurring revenue. And number 10, starting a YouTube channel. You have a computer in your pocket with a camera that connects you to the entire world. Starting a YouTube channel costs you $0. You just press record and you start sharing your story, your skills, your journey. Forbes highlights that building a digital audience is one of the most powerful, low-cost business models available today. The key is your titles and your thumbnails, and you have to hook the viewer instantly. So commit to posting one video a week for an entire year. You might feel like you're too shy and nobody will care about what you have to say. I'm an introvert and I struggle deeply with putting myself out there too. But I realized that quality of thought right here is more important than quality of production. So your lighting might be bad and your audio might be a little echoey, but if your message helps one person change their life, it's worth it. So stop overthinking the perfect setup. Take out your phone, look into the lens, and teach someone how to solve a problem that you have already solved for yourself. Your audience is waiting for you to step up and lead. So hopefully now your excuses are officially gone. You have the tools, the strategies, and the power to completely rewrite your financial future right now. Do not let another day slip by wishing your life was different while you still are stuck standing still. Take the risk, do the work, and build the life you actually deserve. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn the 10 money traps that keep you poor. You're not broke because of the economy or bad luck. You're broke because you keep stepping into the same 10 money traps. While other entrepreneurs are quietly getting rich by avoiding these mistakes, you might be repeating them without even realizing it. And if you don't fix this, a year from now, you'll still be stressed about money, hustling hard with nothing to show for it, wondering why you're not winning. Just look at the proof. Ever hear about lottery winners going bankrupt? Roughly 70% of big lottery winners end up broke within a few years. Jack Whitaker won a $315 million Powerball jackpot and lost it all in a few years. He even said the money destroyed his life. Why? Because money isn't the answer if you haven't fixed the habits that keep people poor. If you got $1 million today but carried on with the same bad behaviors, that money would vanish. I had to learn this myself the hard way. When I was 19, I had my first company and was making $300 a month. Imagine working more than full time and not being even able to afford rent. That was me. I felt worthless. I hit my breaking point at a family event and I told my business partner I quit. I broke down crying, snot-nosed, uncontrollable tears because I felt like I just didn't have what it takes. But the very next morning, I woke up and something snapped. I realized I hadn't earned the right to quit because I hadn't tried everything. I thought, has someone figured this out before? And it turns out Bill Gates had built a software company from nothing. So I decided to model how he did it. I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started learning from someone who'd already won. And you know what? Within a short time, I closed a $13,500 deal, jumping from $300 a month to a $13.5K check. In my head, I felt like a millionaire, but more importantly, I had proof that if I changed my approach, I could change my results. I went from almost giving up to finally getting momentum. Now, maybe you're thinking, Evan, it's not me. It's just, it's a tough market, or I already know this stuff. Wrong. That thinking is a trap by itself. I've coached thousands of entrepreneurs, and the ones who stay broke always point fingers at the economy, their competition, anything but themselves. The winners, they take responsibility. They look in the mirror and they fix what's holding them back. So drop the excuses, at least for this video, and really listen. Even if you think you've heard it all, I guarantee there's at least one trap on this list you're caught in right now. And if you could eliminate it, it could mean the difference between scraping by and actually building real wealth. So let's do this. Here are 10 money traps that will keep you poor and how to break out of each one. Trap number 1, scarcity mindset. This is the fear of spending money or taking risks, the impulse to hoard every dollar. You tell yourself you can't afford to invest in growth, so you do nothing. And ironically, that guarantees you'll always be short on money. Here is your truth. Money is a tool, not a trophy to tuck under your mattress. If you're too afraid to use it, you'll never have more of it. Think about it. If a farmer refuses to plant seeds because he's afraid of losing them, he'll never get a harvest. It's the same with your money. Sitting on it due to fear is a sure way to stay broke. Successful entrepreneurs have an abundance mindset. They invest in themselves and their business confidently. Even when I was struggling, I forced myself to invest in help. I hired someone for just an hour a day to take over tasks that he was better than me at, so I could focus on higher value work. Did it cost money I felt I didn't have? Yes, but freeing up that hour led to more growth and more money. The scarcity-minded you would never have done that. That you stays stuck. So here's your action step. Next time you're scared to spend on something that could grow your business, a course, a tool, an employee, remember avoiding calculated risks is the riskiest move of all. If you want this year to be different, you have to loosen the grip. Invest in your growth or remain forever a servant to pennies. Step number 2, believing money is not important. I don't care about money. I do it for passion. It sounds noble, right? It's also a recipe for staying poor. I'm all about mission. My channel exists to spread belief. But if you don't make money, you can't keep going. Some entrepreneurs wear burnout and poverty like a badge of honor, as if making money would taint their purity. That's nonsense. Money is oxygen for your business. If you ignore it, your dream dies. I had this blind spot myself at a mastermind. My peers told me, Evan, we want to pay you more, but you haven't given us away. It hit me that I was so focused on service, I hadn't built monetization into my mission. And I used to say, I'll do it for free if I have to. And I meant it, but that mindset was holding me back from scaling my impact. I learned that money can't be your number one motivation, but it must be in your top 5. If your mission really matters, you owe it to yourself to fund it properly. Think of money as the fuel or your gasoline that you have on your fire. More fuel, bigger fire. Does running on fumes make you a martyr? No. It makes you a struggling amateur who might have to quit their dream and go back to a day job. So your action step is start respecting money. Charge what you're worth. Create offers and products that bring in revenue, not because you're greedy, but because revenue equals longevity, equals impact. Money in your pocket means you get to keep serving, keep improving, keep living your purpose. Breathe life into your business by embracing profit, not as the goal, but as the means to amplify your goal. Step number 3, the get-rich-quick illusion. This one is deadly because it seduces you with flashy promises, crypto schemes, meme stocks, guaranteed 6 figures in 30 days courses. If you're chasing those, you're running on this hamster wheel, right? The reality is almost nobody wins that game. Studies show that over 97% of day traders lose money over time. Did you hear that again? You think you're the exception? The odds say that you're not. Trying to get rich quick is like trying to sprint in a marathon. You burn out or collapse financially. Wealth built fast rarely lasts. Look at the dot-com bust. Look at the crypto crashes. Fortunes made in months disappeared overnight for those who didn't have solid fundamentals. And psychologically, the more you chase instant rewards, the more you wire your brain for short-term thinking. Remember the famous Stanford marshmallow experiment? Kids who resisted eating one marshmallow immediately to get 2 later ended up with better grades, better jobs, and way more success decades later. Why? Because delayed gratification is a superpower. It means you can sacrifice now for a greater payoff later. If you lack that, you'll always snatch at pennies and miss out on dollars. So your action step, commit to the long game. If you catch yourself saying, why am I not rich yet? I need a shortcut. Slap yourself, right? Figuratively. Decide to get rich for sure, but not to get rich quick. Build real value, develop skills, put in the reps. It might take longer, but when you get there, you'll stay rich. Every overnight success you admire took years of unseen work. Keep that in mind every time you're tempted by the next hot opportunity. Step number 4, stagnating your learning. The moment you think you've arrived or I know enough, you're done. The world is changing faster than ever. This year will belong to the innovators, the learners, the adapters, the tinkerers. If you're not obsessed with learning, you will be left behind. Maybe you've got a degree or some experience and you think that's enough. I'll tell you what I discovered. My business degree was practically useless when it came to real entrepreneurship. In my senior year at University of Toronto, I finally got a class on entrepreneurship, on small business, and the professor had never even run a business himself. While my classmates played it safe with case studies about fake coffee shops, I was out there running a real company at the time and struggling, and none of my professors could help me. I learned more from YouTube shows than an entire semester of lectures. That's how out of touch formal education was with entrepreneurship. And guess what? Today, the best teachers are on YouTube or podcasts or forums, people actually in the game sharing their up-to-the-minute insights. If you're not tapping into that, you're choosing ignorance. Meanwhile, technology is exploding. AI, social platforms, shifting market trends. You can't rely on what worked in 2016 or 2023. You need to be upskilling constantly. Read books, take courses, follow industry leaders, watch YouTube videos, experiment with new tools. The top CEOs read dozens of books a year, always hunting for one idea that gives them an edge. So your action step, schedule daily learning. Yes, daily, even 30 minutes of reading or watching a YouTube video or tutorial. Adopt a beginner's mindset. Assume that there's always something that you don't know, because there is. This year, ignorance will cost you more than ever, but if you keep learning, you won't just make more money, you'll future-proof your success. Trap number 5, lifestyle inflation and looking rich. This trap is sneaky because society will clap for you while you fall into it. You make a bit of money and you immediately upgrade your lifestyle, bigger apartment, nicer car, expensive gadgets to look successful. After all, you deserve it, right? Here's the problem. When your income goes up, if your spending matches it, you're not growing wealth. You're just on a nicer treadmill now. I've seen entrepreneurs make $100,000 in revenue and spend $110K trying to appear like ballers. The math doesn't work. Even multimillionaires go broke from this. 78% of NFL players are either bankrupt or under serious financial stress within 2 years of retirement. These are people who earned millions per year, and 60% of NBA players are broke within 5 years of leaving the league. How is that possible? Lifestyle inflation. They felt like they had to flex Lamborghinis and jewelry, spend like kings, help every second cousin and old friend who asked, and they blew their money. Wealth is silent. Poverty is loud. If you're spending money to prove to others that you have money, that's a fool's game. Real millionaires are investing into assets, not liabilities to stunt on Instagram. They're not buying depreciating toys on credit. They're reinvesting in their business and stocks and real estate, things that make money while they sleep. Meanwhile, the pretenders stay one hiccup away from complete disaster. So, your action step, cap your lifestyle. Pick a modest baseline and stick to it as your income grows. Instead of a fancy car, get a fancy investment portfolio. Let your results do the talking, not your Gucci belt. This year, economic ups and downs will hit the flashy spenders hardest. Be smart now so you're not selling your luxury junk later to pay your rent. Remember, you're building empires, not trying to look like a king for a day. Trap number 6, doing everything yourself. The one-person army, the solopreneur who refuses to delegate, that mentality will keep you broke and exhausted. You might think you're saving money by not hiring, not outsourcing, not partnering, but you're actually stealing from your own future. Why? Because you're capping your growth to the hours that you personally can work. There are only so many hours in a day, and if you insist on being the hero who does it all, you will burn out before you ever build real wealth. I'll share a quick story. I met a YouTuber with 6 million subscribers, had a huge audience, and he had just hired his first virtual assistant because until then, he'd been doing everything himself. The editing, the thumbnails, the emails, all of it. This guy was a rock star on the outside, but behind the scenes, he was drowning in busy work. It blew my mind and it reinforced one of my core beliefs. You have to build a team if you want to go from just hustling to actual enterprise. And I get it, nobody does it as good as you, right? And paying others feels like a luxury when money's tight. But not hiring help when you're overloaded is a trap. Think about it. If you spend 10 hours a week doing $10 an hour tasks, that's $100 of value. If you paid someone $10 an hour to do it, that's $100 out of your pocket. But those 10 hours could be used to generate $1,000 of value or $10,000 doing higher level strategy, sales, product development. So action step, identify the one task that consumes your time and someone else could do at half your rate or better. Outsource it this month, even for a trial run. Start small if you have to. Hire a freelancer for 5 hours a week. Your future self will thank you as you find yourself with more time to make real money. Remember, businesses are built by teams, not lone heroes. You're not just an entrepreneur. Become a leader of people, even if it's one part-timer to start. Trap number 7, never asking for help or advice. Pride, fear of looking stupid, I have to figure it out on my own. These attitudes will silently rob you of your success. Listen, every great entrepreneur that you admire had mentors, coaches, advisors guiding them. Steve Jobs had Bill Campbell. Zuckerberg had Steve Jobs. Gates had Buffett in his corner. Meanwhile, you're over there Googling or ChatGPTing for hours, just flailing in silence because you're too proud or too shy to ask someone who's been there for help. And I struggled with this too. I'm an introvert. I don't like bothering people. For years, asking for help was my biggest weakness, probably still is. I thought I had to do everything myself, back to trap number 6. But once I started seeking guidance, everything started to change. I joined the mastermind group. I reached out to entrepreneurs I looked up to, and very often people are willing to help. 84% of CEOs say that having mentors prevented them from making costly mistakes, and 69% of them made more profitable decisions thanks to mentor guidance. That's data. Even the top of the top lean on mentors to fast track their learning. If the highest performers can benefit from advice, why on earth would you try to wing it alone? It's pure ego or ignorance. Both will keep you broke. So action step, swallow your pride and actively seek out mentorship. This could mean reaching out to someone in your field that you respect with a specific question, joining a local entrepreneur mastermind or meetup group, or even just posting your challenge in a community of your peers. Not asking is a guaranteed no. The worst that can happen is someone says they're too busy. So what? Move on to the next. When I was stuck early on, I could have saved so much time if I had just asked someone who'd already built a business for advice, instead of assuming the bank would help me or suffering in isolation. Don't let your pride or your fear keep you ignorant. This year, make it a rule. If you don't know, ask. Save yourself years of trial and error. Your net worth will often depend on your network. So start building one that can guide and inspire you. Tip number 8, waiting for the savior or a sign. This one's a bit counterintuitive. It's when you wait for an outsider to rescue you, a bank loan, an investor, the perfect moment, instead of creating momentum yourself. It's the mindset of, if only I had X, then I would succeed. And I see entrepreneurs fall into this trap all the time. They think a big investor is going to suddenly appear or write them a check, or a bank will just toss them tons of money because they had the courage to start a business. I made this mistake myself at 19. I walked into a bank. My head was held high and I said, "Hi, I'm starting a business. How can you help me?" Expecting them to be as excited as I was. And the banker basically laughed me out of the door. They told me no loan without 3 years of history or huge collateral. I left feeling crushed, like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. This is ridiculous. For a minute, I thought maybe that was it. Maybe I wasn't meant to be an entrepreneur if even the bank didn't believe in me. But here's what I realized. Nobody's coming to save you. That rejection was actually a gift because it forced me to get creative. Many people would have quit right there. In fact, a lot of new entrepreneurs do quit after their first big rejection or failure. They take it as a sign that it wasn't meant to be. That's the trap. The truth is, setbacks are normal. Rejection is normal. Waiting around for perfect conditions or someone else's money is a loser's game. If I had waited for an investor or kept begging banks, I'd still be waiting. Instead, I bootstrapped. I cut expenses. I hustled for sales. We made alliances. Remember the idea of modeling Bill Gates' partnership strategy? Eventually, I didn't need the bank's money. My business funded itself. So your action step, whatever you're waiting for, stop waiting. Start doing. If you think you need funding, challenge yourself to launch a smaller version of your idea with whatever resources that you have right now. Prove that it works. Get some traction. If you're waiting for the economy to improve, find a way to serve people in this economy right now. If you're waiting for permission or validation from some expert, give yourself permission. This video is your permission. The only savior you need is the person in the mirror. No more waiting for someday or someone. Successful people start before they're ready, and they trust that they'll find out what they need along the way, not up front. Tip number 9, not managing your money. Look, it doesn't matter how much you make if you can't manage what you have. Plenty of entrepreneurs have high income and still end up broke because they don't know where their money is going. Ignoring your finances is a huge trap. Maybe you find it boring, spreadsheets, budgets, taxes, so you avoid it. Or you assume your cash flow is fine because sales are coming in. That's a big mistake. According to a US bank study, 82% of businesses fail due to poor cash flow management. That means almost 8 out of 10 businesses don't die from lack of ideas or even lack of customers. They die because the owners weren't on top of the money moving in and out. They run out of cash and boom, game over. You must know your numbers, your monthly expenses, your revenue, your profit margins, your burn rate, if you're burning savings, all of it. When I started making a bit of money, I hated accounting. So you know what I did? I didn't ignore it. I delegated it. One of the first things I let go of was doing my own books because I knew if I tried to handle it while hating it, I'd probably screw it up. I used Microsoft Money software to automate what I could. And as soon as I could, I hired a part-time bookkeeper. I kept an eye on everything, but I left someone who loves numbers handle the details. So that key point is I respected the numbers. You need to respect your numbers too. If you're not a finance person, fine. But the excuse, I'm not good at math, doesn't fly when your business goes under. So, action step. Today, make a simple financial dashboard for yourself. Track your monthly income, the expenses, your net profit. At the very least, you can use a spreadsheet, an app, I don't care. Just have visibility on it. Set a weekly date with yourself. Money Mondays, for example, to review and update your finances. Find one expense to cut or optimize and one area to potentially invest more in. And please, separate your personal and your business finances, right? Pay yourself a salary or draw so you're not constantly mixing your funds and losing track of what's what. When you know your numbers, you can control them. They don't control you. Master this and you won't wake up one day surprised that you're out of cash. Instead, you'll wake up building true wealth systematically. And shot number 10, quitting too soon. The only guaranteed way to fail is to give up, right? Cliche? Maybe, but it's cliche for a reason. It's true. And most people still don't get it. Quitting early is the ultimate wealth killer. Every entrepreneur faces pain and doubt and darkness on the road to success. Those who push through eventually see light. Those who quit stay in the dark forever. And I nearly fell into this trap myself. As I told you, I almost quit my business in the first year when nothing was working. If I had quit, you probably wouldn't know my name. I'd be working some job that I hate right now, and none of the impact I've had would exist. I was this close to that reality, and it scares me how many people's success stories end early because they walked away right before the breakthrough. It's digging for gold. Most people stop 3 feet from gold because it's taking longer than they thought. I say keep digging. Often the breakthrough comes just when you're at your lowest and ready to quit. If you give it one more big push. After I decided to stick with my business and model Bill Gates, our first win, that $13,500 deal, it came in not long after. That wasn't a coincidence. It was my persistence being rewarded. And it taught me that a failure is just an event. It's not the end, unless you make it the end by quitting. I try now to use my almost quit story to coach others that quantity leads to quality. You have to put in the reps to churn through the failures to get to the success. If you bail after a handful of tries, you never develop mastery. You never hit the tipping point where it starts to rain money. So your action step is make a commitment this year that you won't quit on anything important out of frustration or fear. If you're going to quit something, quit making excuses, but don't quit on your dream. Whenever you feel like giving up, remember why you started and picture yourself 1 year from now if you keep going versus if you stop. And use the pain of potential regret as fuel. Because if you persist through 10 failures, you might find success on number 11. But if you quit after 3, you've guaranteed failure. So keep going, adjust your strategy, learn from the setbacks, reread chat number 7 about asking for help, but keep going. Persistence is undefeated in the long run. Winners are just ex-losers who refuse to quit. And most importantly, don't just watch this video passively. Do the work to call yourself out and improve. Most people won't even admit they have flaws to fix. You are. That already sets you apart from the masses who will just let another year go by and live in the reruns of the same mistakes. Now it's on you to take action. Knowing these traps is step 1. Doing something about them is step 2. You've got this opportunity right now to set new habits, a new standard for how you handle money and success. So take it. Now let's learn the 3 steps to dominating your niche as a beginner. Most beginners on social media won't win. You post a few times, you play it safe, you blend into the crowd. If you look like everyone else, no one will remember you. And if you are easy to ignore, you will be ignored. Think about James Dyson. For years, he was broke and frustrated, working out of a tiny workshop while everyone told him that his idea would never work. He believed vacuum cleaners were flawed, so he set out to build a better one. What most people do not know is that Dyson failed 5,126 times. Prototype after prototype did not work. Investors said no. Manufacturers laughed at him. Anyone else would have quit long before that, but he kept going. On attempt number 5127, the vacuum finally worked. That one breakthrough turned into Dyson, a global brand worth billions of dollars now. Dyson did not win because he was lucky. He won because he was willing to look foolish and persist when everyone else would have stopped. If a man can fail over 5,000 times and still win, what is your excuse as a beginner? My own journey was no different. When I started on YouTube, I sucked. I'm not afraid to admit it. It took me 350 videos before I could make one without being completely embarrassed by my content. I couldn't even watch my first videos back. I'd hit play and cringe at myself. And the growth was painfully slow. In the first 6 years of YouTube, I gained 9,000 subscribers. 6 years, 9,000 subscribers. That's basically nothing by today's standards. I felt like a failure many times. I struggled with self-doubt every day. But I kept going. I kept making videos. I kept improving one tiny step at a time. And then things started to happen. In the next 6 years, those 9,000 subscribers grew to over 2 million. And those breakthroughs only came after years of struggle and persistence. If I had quit in year 5 or 6 because it felt hopeless, nobody would even know my name today. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but Evan, I'm a nobody online. Who's going to listen to me? I'm not a leader. Listen, every influencer that you admire, every leader that you respect, they all started with 0 followers. Nobody gave them permission to lead either. They decided to lead. They stepped up, they shared their voice, and they did the work long before they had an audience. Leadership isn't a title that you are given, it's a skill that you develop. And so by showing up consistently, by serving others, if you wait until you feel like a leader, guess what? You'll never post a thing. You become a leader by acting like one before anyone believes in you. So yes, even a beginner with 0 followers, you can be a leader. In fact, that's the only way that you become one. So before we get into the how, I want to give a quick shout out to Jackie Wood from my school community. Jackie asked, as a beginner on social media, what would be your top 3 suggestions to stand out as a leader in your niche? So Jackie, I love this question. This video is for you, and I promise by the end of it, you'll have a clear game plan to rise up as a leader. All right, let's do it. Here are my top 3 suggestions for any beginner who wants to stand out as a leader on social media. Tip number 1, share your story and be real. The fastest way to blend in online is to fake it. The world is full of all these cookie cutter creators trying to be perfect, never showing any real part of themselves. That's exactly why you must be authentic and share your story. Nobody has your journey, your quirks, your voice. So lean into that. Be the real you, not the polished, fake imitation version of somebody else. So when I say share your story, I mean the real stuff, the struggles, the awkward moments, the things that you might be afraid to put out there, because ironically, those are the things that actually make people remember you. And so here's some proof. I once went to a fancy event in Los Angeles, VIP dinner, the works, and I hated it. I'm an introvert, small talks in big groups, it drains me. So instead of schmoozing, I snuck off to a Subway across the street, got a sandwich, and ate alone in the hotel lobby. And I pulled out my phone and I filmed a quick video confessing how out of place and introverted I felt, and that it's okay to recharge alone. I posted it to my Instagram, I think on YouTube. You know what happened? The response was overwhelming. So many people commented things like, thank you for saying that. I thought I was the only one who felt like an imposter at those events. And by sharing my vulnerability instead of hiding it, I made a deeper connection with people. People trust you when you're real. They see a leader who's human, not some untouchable, fake plastic guru. Even science backs this up. So psychologists talk about the pratfall effect. So basically, people actually find you more likable when you show your imperfections. One study found that authenticity and vulnerability build stronger emotional connections with an audience than trying to appear perfect, especially at the beginning. So your followers aren't looking for flawless, they're looking for relatable. So share that story about how you spilled coffee on your notes right before a big client call, or share the mistake that taught you a really hard lesson. Those moments make you stand out because everyone else is too busy hiding their cracks behind a pretty facade. When you share your story, 2 amazing things happen. First, you become impossible to copy, right? Competitors can steal your style or your topics, but they can't steal you, your unique life experiences. And second, you build trust. You signal, hey, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to help you, warts and all. And trust becomes everything. People follow leaders that they trust. Remember, people don't buy from brands. They buy from humans that they trust. So show them the human side of you. Now, maybe you're still worried. Won't sharing my flaws make me look weak? No, it makes you look real. It makes you look courageous. Brené Brown calls vulnerability the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So being real is a form of leadership. Plus, sharing your challenges lets you flip them into lessons for your audience. So as a leader, everything you've overcome is a roadmap for someone who's coming up behind you. So your story might be exactly what someone in your niche needs to hear right now. And one more thing, don't hide yourself. In my early years, I was terrified to put me front and center. I figured I'll just share famous entrepreneurs' lessons and stay behind the camera. I told my agent, I have no desire to be famous. I don't like the spotlight on me. I'm introverted. But he pushed me and finally said something that really changed my perspective. So he said, the more people know you, the more people you can serve. And that really hit me. By staying invisible, I was actually limiting the impact that I could have. I realized that if I believe in my message, I have to be willing to be seen. So I'm telling you what I had to tell myself. Don't be afraid to share you. Show your face, speak in your voice, tell your story. It's not about ego or look at me. It's about service. If you can help someone with your story, then you must. The world needs what you have. Hiding helps no one. Sharing will make you stand out because so few have the courage to do it. Number 2, stay consistent. Want to know a secret weapon that 90% of beginners never develop? Consistency. The internet is littered with abandoned accounts and dead channels. The truth is, most creators quit before they even break through. Over 90% of YouTube channels never reach 10,000 subscribers. Not because they aren't talented, but because they give up too soon. They post a few videos, they don't get the results that they hope for, they get discouraged, and then they just vanish, they disappear. Consistency is rare, which is exactly why it'll make you stand out. So if you simply keep showing up while others are fading away, you'll already be in the top echelon. So show up for 1 year and you'll be shocked at where you end up. If you show up every day for the next year, you won't recognize your life a year from now, but you have to last that long first. The first year is brutal for almost everyone. Slow growth, little to no money. The algorithm plays games with your sanity. It's basically a hazing process to get started. It's supposed to be hard. It's like a test to see who actually wants it and who's going to quit. Most people fail that test, but not you, not now, right? You're here, you're listening to this, so I know you're serious. So I'm telling you now, decide that you will not quit no matter how slow it feels. Commit to consistency. Post that podcast every week. Drop a video every Tuesday, whatever your schedule is. Stick to it religiously. When your competition falls off in month 3 or 6, your consistency will make you shine. Remember my story, 350 terrible videos, 5 to 6 years of almost no audience. I could have said, this isn't working, I should stop. That's probably the logical, sane thing to do. I felt that way many times, but the difference between the people in the social media graveyard and the leaders you look up to that are still standing is that the leaders kept going when everyone else gave up. It's not about never getting tired or never doubting yourself. It's about continuing despite that. It's about being stubborn on your mission, but flexible on your methods. If one video flops, make the next one better. If you go 3 months and there's no growth, learn and adapt, but don't disappear. Most creators burn out because they try to sprint what is a marathon. They post like crazy for a short time and then exhaust themselves. Pace yourself, but stay in the game. So here's a pro tip. Expect to suck at the start. It's okay. Give permission to yourself to be bad while you're getting better. I didn't want to accept that at first. I wanted my first videos to be great from day one. And when they weren't, I beat myself up. I've since learned to embrace the process. You heard the stats, right? From me, 350 videos until I made one that I could watch without cringing, and 700 until I actually made myself proud of my content. That's the reality behind anyone you see killing it online. There's a mountain of unseen, unimpressive work that came before. So don't compare your first steps to somebody else's middle. Your job is to just keep taking those steps. You are on the cusp of something great. Just a little more patience, a little more effort, and you'll get there. And it's true, the ones who win are the ones who outlast. Be the tortoise, not the hare. Slow and steady, consistently improving will beat the flashy sprinter who quits halfway. And one more thing on consistency. Make sure you actually enjoy something about what you're doing. Leaders have passion. You rarely see someone win long-term at something that they hate. If you despise making videos, maybe writing blogs or doing podcasts is more your style. So do that. Find a format and a topic that you love enough to stick with it when it's not giving you rewards yet. Passion is what fuels persistence. If you love the process, you can endure the pain. If you don't, you'll find excuses to stop. So create content around something that actually energizes you, that you care deeply about. That energy is infectious and it will keep you going. So for me, I'm a visual learner and I love modeling success. That's why I chose YouTube and profiling famous entrepreneurs, because I genuinely find it fun and inspiring 16 years later. It gave me energy even when the numbers were small. So figure out what aspect of creating that you enjoy and lean into that. It will make consistency so much easier for you. Number 3, serve your audience no matter how small. Leadership isn't about you, it's about them. right? The people you serve. If you want to stand out as a leader on social media, focus obsessively on providing value and helping your audience win. Too many beginners chase clout or vanity metrics. They ask, how can I get more views? How can I look like an expert? So just switch that mindset a bit. How can I make a real difference for every person who watches my content? When you approach content like that, you immediately separate yourself from 99% of the newbies. You're not just another person shouting for attention. You're someone who actually genuinely cares, and that becomes magnetic. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers or 10,000. Serve those 10 like they're the most important people in the world, because to you as a leader, they should be. Don't get obsessed with who's not following you. Focus on who is in the room, no matter how few. I remember getting 50 views on a video and feeling discouraged. 50 views, that's nothing, right? But then I just mentally reframed it. If I was given a talk at a library and 50 people showed up to hear, I'd be thrilled, right? That's a packed room for a newbie speaker. Those are 50 human beings who gave me their time. And that shift in perspective changed everything. I stopped seeing only 50 and started feeling grateful for every single viewer. So then I doubled down on serving those people, responding to comments and answering questions. And like this one, this is a question and answer video, making content that addresses their struggles. And guess what? More people came. Slowly at first, but they came because people feel it when you care. They tell their friends, they stick around. Loyalty is built one person at a time. So Evan from 20 years ago didn't understand this. I thought success was all about the numbers. And I was so ashamed when the numbers weren't there. I even hid my struggles. I was too embarrassed and too ashamed to tell my friends that I was failing and that I was broke. I put on a fake smile and I'm living the entrepreneur dream while quietly stressing out about how I would survive. I thought I had to appear successful, but I was wrong. What I needed was to ask for help, to be honest, and to focus on the impact, not my fragile ego at the time. And eventually I learned impact over ego. Forget looking cool. Just create value. Solve real problems. Encourage people. Share knowledge generously. Do it even when few people are listening. And you'll earn a reputation as someone who cares and who delivers. That is leadership. Also, don't be afraid to engage and build community, right? Leadership on social isn't just a one-way broadcast. It can be a conversation. Reply to that one comment that you got. Thank people for watching the video. Shout out a community member like we're doing, for Jackie right here. Make your followers feel seen. People, they crave connection. If you give them that, they will remember you. They'll see you as a leader with them, not just above them. So one of my favorite things to do is to feature members of Believe Nation, you guys, in the videos at the start of all the videos, right? Leave a hashtag Believe and we'll feature you here in a future video. We rise together. So even if your community is 5 people right now, engage those 5 like they're friends and allies. Service also means constantly asking, how can I help my audience more? So maybe that's through your content. Maybe it's through a free resource like the worksheet that I mentioned here in the description below. Maybe it's just by listening to their struggles. When you focus on serving, 2 really important things happen. First, you never run out of content ideas because their needs and questions give you an endless supply of what to work on. And second, you position yourself as the go-to leader in your niche because people can tell you're in it for them, not just for yourself. The leaders who last are mission-driven. And so what I try to remind myself of is your purpose comes from your pain. The struggles that you've overcome equip you to help other people. I started my channel to serve the 19-year-old version of me who felt lost and had no guidance. I knew exactly what that kid was going through, and I was obsessed with trying to help him and others struggling like him, right? Not struggle as much as I did. And I wasn't thinking about the fame or the money. I was thinking, how can I make the journey easier for someone else? When that's your driving force, you stand out. People can feel the difference between a leader who genuinely cares and a selfish content creator just looking for clout. And hey, if you have the ability, then you have the responsibility, as my mom always said, to use it. If you can help, then you must. And that mindset will set you apart. Most people hold back their best advice or dilute their message because they're just trying to sell something or they're afraid of giving too much. But not you, right? Not now. You're going to give massive value upfront. You're going to share your best ideas freely. Why? Because you actually want to see people win. And what it does is build trust and positions you as a leader that people want to follow. The world needs what you have. Don't ever forget that. There are people out there right now who are praying for the solutions and encouragement and empowerment that you have locked in your head or your heart. So go give it to them. That's how you lead. That's how you stand out. So let me recap the 3 suggestions real quick. Be authentic, share your story, your flaws and all. Be consistent, show up relentlessly when others won't, and be service-driven. Focus on helping your audience, not boosting your ego. You do those 3, and you will absolutely stand out as a leader in your niche, no matter if you're starting at 0 today. I know it's not easy. None of this is easy, but it's worth it. You have something special to offer, and the beginning is always the hardest. Remember, the leader you admire is just a beginner who refused to quit. Keep going. I believe in you, but more importantly, I want you to believe in yourself. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn about the one tool every YouTube creator needs after 100,000 subscribers. If you have under 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, using YouTube Studio's A/B testing tool is a great choice. It's free, it's accurate, and it's a good starter tool you should be leveraging. If you're over 100,000 subscribers, then it's time to take your split testing more seriously, and you need a professional tool like Brandlytics. Now, I'm a split testing nerd. I've personally completed tens of thousands of split tests on my own YouTube channel, and when I showed YouTube what I was doing, they decided to write a case study on me. At the time, they were shocked that I took a video that was 4 years old and getting 100 views per day and took it to almost 15,000 views per day just by changing the thumbnail. Over the years, I've helped thousands of small and big creators grow their YouTube channels, and once you cross 100,000 subscribers, the channels that grow exponentially do so because they focus on their data as much as their art. They match the art of creating videos with the science of the algorithm. That's where Brandlytics comes in. I developed it myself just for my own channel because I needed a way to A/B test at scale. Then some of my big name friends wanted to use it, and it was their secret weapon too. And I didn't know if I was ever gonna make it publicly available to everyone or just keep it for us, but I decided to open it up, at least for now. When we help smaller creators, the most important things are usually figuring out their content strategy, scripts, brand design, and hooks. When we help larger creators, the fastest way to generate growth usually isn't in new videos, it's by fixing the library of content. If you have over 100,000 subscribers and hundreds of videos, adding one more video won't move the needle as much as fixing your old videos that should be performing better. You have gold in your library of videos that YouTube is trying to recommend right now, but people aren't clicking because you have a bad title and thumbnail combination. So how do you find those low-hanging fruit videos? How do you set up tests, track your data, manage your team, see your results, and continue to dominate? That's where Brandlytics comes in. For people who use YouTube Studio A/B testing, they usually do it at video launch. It's actually great for that. Set up your 3 variations and see what performs the best. With Brandlytics, we don't even let you run a split test on a video that is less than 7 days old because the data is too variable. But what do most people do next? They just leave the thumbnail that won in Studio up and focus on the next video launch. That's crazy. Like, very, very crazy. First of all, the audience that watches a video in the first 7 days is nothing like the audience that watches afterwards. How your core audience reacts to a video is often very different to how a colder audience reacts. Your videos live forever on YouTube and can bring in views forever. So if you want to take your channel seriously, you need to test forever. Just testing at launch isn't good enough anymore. How do you know what videos to test? How can you tell which videos are underperforming because of a bad thumbnail title combination? YouTube Studio won't tell you, but Brandlytics will. Here's what we do. We sort your entire channel by the videos that are getting high impressions but have an underperforming click-through rate. This means YouTube is trying to promote your video because they think it's a good video, but people aren't clicking on it because your thumbnail and title suck. That's great news. It's much easier to fix a thumbnail and title than record a killer video that has great retention. Now, what makes for a good click-through rate? That's probably one of the most frequent questions I get asked. And the answer is, it depends on how many impressions a video is getting. If the video only has 4 impressions and 3 of them are from your mom who clicked each time, that gives you a 75% click-through rate. By contrast, if you have a video with 1 million impressions and a 5% click-through rate, it doesn't mean that the CTR sucks because 5% is less than 75%. What it means is that as your video reaches more people, it goes to a broader and broader audience, which means the click-through rate will drop. The #1 video on a channel usually has a below average CTR for that channel. That is normal. It's reaching new people, and those people won't click as much as your hardcore subscribers. So what makes a good CTR? How can you tell if a video has an underperforming click-through rate? You compare similar videos with similar impressions and see which ones consistently get lower CTRs. That's what Brandlytics does automatically for you. It runs through your entire channel, looks at the past 28 days of data, and gives you the videos that right now should be getting more views, but aren't because the click-through rate is too low. Those are the videos you fix right now with a better thumbnail or title. YouTube Studio's A/B testing is a great tool for beginners, but once you start taking your data seriously, there's no comparison. How do you know what to test? The next question I then get asked is, okay, So I know I need to run a split test, but what do I test? The thumbnail or the title or both? First of all, we don't allow users to test both the title and thumbnail at the same time. You need to be able to isolate why a test wins or loses. If you're trying a new thumbnail and title at the same time, you don't know which is the reason why it wins or loses. Next, Brandlytics will also recommend what to test next. After you load in your channel, we will give you guidance not just on what videos to fix, but whether you should update the thumbnail or title. You can ignore the guidance if you want, but I wouldn't recommend it. Let's talk about your testing history. This might sound super boring, but it's actually super important. If you want to run a follow-up test on a video in YouTube Studio, you have to delete all the data from the first test. What? How are you supposed to know what you've tested before? There are videos on my channel that we've run over 20 tests on. If a video is underperforming, we run an A/B test. If it loses and the video is still underperforming, what do? Run another test, and then another, and then another, and then another, and then another, until it's not underperforming anymore. For anyone who runs ads, this is normal practice. You keep running tests and always try to beat your best. When do you stop testing? Never. But if you have to delete a test on YouTube Studio to run a new test, how do you know what you've already tested? What thumbnails have you already tried? What title combinations have you already tried? You have no idea, or you have to create a complicated system on your own to keep track. This is one of the main reasons why I built Brandlytics. When you click to run a test, it will show you all of the previous tests that you've already done on that video, so you can avoid making the same test again and continue to learn from what works. Again, it's just about taking your data and the science of YouTube seriously. If you're only going to run a few split tests per month or only at video launch, then use YouTube Studio. When you're ready to turbocharge your back catalog and your channel growth, Brandlytics is the obvious answer. What else does Brandlytics do? Now, there are a lot more features we've got and are developing, but I don't want to make this video incredibly long. A lot of them, you don't even realize how important they are until you start trying to A/B test at scale. Brandlytics was specifically designed for people who want to scale. Can it work for smaller channels? Yes. I'd say the data starts being really valuable for channels with 10,000 plus subscribers, but it turbo unlocks when you have 100,000 to millions of subscribers. The more videos and data you have, the more impactful it is. If your channel is smaller or new, I'd suggest using YouTube Studio's A/B testing because it's free, and your path to growth is usually, again, more on content strategy, scripts, brand designs, and hooks, not A/B testing. One more thing. I can't finish this video though without also talking about the training that we do. I've coached thousands of creators at this point with their channels from pure startup to 8 figures in subscribers. And as a special bonus for Brandlytics clients, I go live every 2 weeks for 85 minutes to guide you on your growth. Usually we start each session with a channel breakdown. When you sign up for Brandlytics, you can ask our team to get on the list for channel breakdowns. I'll break down one channel with the channel owner, go through their YouTube Studio backend, as well as their Brandlytics results, and guide them on how to grow the channel to the next level. That's the first half of the call, and you get to sit in on the consultation. The second half of the call is dedicated to your questions. I'll bring people up on stage in our Zoom room, you ask your question, and I'll do my best to help. I've helped scale my channel to millions of subscribers, as well as some of the biggest names in entrepreneurship to millions of subscribers, and it's one of my favorite things to do. The session alone is worth the price, so you can think of it as getting the software for free or getting the sessions for free, but I want to see Brandlytics clients win, so it's a fun way to give more value twice a month. So I think that's good for now. Brandlytics definitely isn't for everyone yet, but if you got some traction already and are now ready to take your YouTube growth seriously, then Brandlytics is for you. I can't wait to help you out. Believe. To learn 12 years of hard lessons in 12 minutes, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. You will waste years of your life if you try to learn these lessons the hard way. I spent years learning these business lessons, so you don't have to. And if you ignore this advice, you risk wasting years of effort, money, and sanity that you'll never get back.